Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button because this story, it's one you'll never forget. Like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you think you can handle what really happened behind that quiet suburban door. The Bronx, 1999. A chill hung over the city that February morning. Police sirens cut through the gray dawn as officers gathered around a narrow alley on Hunts Point Avenue. A janitor found something wrapped in a torn bedsheet. Something small, motionless, and devastatingly still. When detectives pulled the sheet open, the truth was unbearable. The body of a 13-year-old girl, Minerliz Minnie Soriano, had been stuffed inside a dumpster, discarded like garbage. Minnie had been missing for 3 days. Her family had plastered her smiling face across telephone poles and storefronts, praying someone had seen her. But now, standing behind the yellow tape, her mother screamed as she saw the police van drive away. A once lively girl, gone. The community mourned, terrified that a monster was walking among them. Detective Luis Maldonado, a veteran with 20 years on the force, took the case personally. He lived just a few blocks away. Whoever did this, he said quietly, didn't come from far. The neighborhood buzzed with rumors. A stranger? A drifter? Or someone closer? The police began questioning everyone. Neighbors described the same person over and over again. A polite man in his late 30s who lived on the corner, always fixing things for people. His name was Joseph Martinez, a soft-spoken maintenance worker and part-time astronomy tutor. He's good with kids, one neighbor said, always showing them the stars. Maldonado noted the detail, but there was no reason to suspect him. Martinez had no record, no signs of violence, nothing linking him to Minnie. For weeks, the investigation went cold. Leads dried up. The trail froze in silence. Life moved on, or at least it appeared to. Martinez went back to teaching children about constellations in the community center. He smiled at the police as they drove by. He even attended the memorial vigil for Minnie, standing among grieving parents with a candle in hand. But Detective Maldonado couldn't let it go. Something about the man's calm bothered him. It wasn't grief, it was control. Then, in late April, a break came. A local boy told police that Minnie had often helped Martinez carry his telescope equipment home. That small detail hit Maldonado like a punch. He ordered a quiet search of Martinez's apartment. Just routine, he said. When officers entered, everything looked spotless. Too spotless. The walls smelled faintly of bleach. The carpet was new. And yet, in the far corner of the living room, a single floorboard didn't sit flush with the rest. The officer pried it up. Inside, wrapped in duct tape and newspaper, was something that should never have been there. It wasn't just evidence. It was Minnie's missing school ID. Detective Maldonado froze as he stared at the school ID resting in his gloved hands. It was faded, smudged with age, but unmistakably Minnie's. The air in the apartment seemed to close in. Officers exchanged uneasy glances. The man everyone trusted, the neighbor who smiled at the grieving parents, was now the center of something far darker. Maldonado ordered a full forensic sweep. Technicians combed every inch of the one-bedroom apartment, lifting fibers, scraping residue, bagging samples. The couch cushions were replaced recently. The sink drained scrubbed raw. Whoever lived here had tried very hard to erase something. Martinez returned home just as police were finishing their search. Calm, polite as always, he tilted his head when he saw the flashing lights. "Is everything all right, detective?" he asked, voice steady as stone. Maldonado studied him. No panic, no denial, just a man rehearsed in stillness. "We found something," Maldonado said evenly. "We'll need you to come downtown." At the precinct, Martinez sat under the harsh light of the interrogation room, hands folded neatly on the table. He didn't ask for a lawyer, didn't protest, didn't even blink when shown Minnie's ID. "That's terrible," he said softly, "but I have no idea how it got there." It was a textbook denial, but there was something behind his eyes, a flicker that betrayed him. For weeks, investigators dug deeper. Martinez's background was ordinary on paper. Divorced, no children, employed by a maintenance company, known for mentoring kids. But when they traced his old addresses, a disturbing pattern began to surface. In 1987, he lived in another borough where a young girl had gone missing. In 1991, another neighborhood, another unsolved assault. None of the cases ever linked to him, but the dates lined up too cleanly to ignore. Meanwhile, the lab results came back. Tiny traces of DNA were found on the floorboard where the ID had been hidden. It matched Minnie's. That discovery turned suspicion into certainty. Police moved to arrest him, but Martinez was gone. He'd vanished overnight. No car, no credit cards, no sign of struggle. Just an empty apartment and a telescope left behind by the window, pointing at nothing but the dark skyline of the Bronx. The manhunt began. His photos spread across every news channel in the city. Astronomy teacher wanted for murder. The headline screamed. The public was shocked. Neighbors who once greeted him now locked their doors. Then, 2 weeks later, an anonymous tip came in from a small town in upstate New York. A landlord claimed a quiet man had just rented a basement apartment under the name Joseph Martinez. The description was unmistakable. When police stormed the location, the room was empty, but taped to the wall above a single mattress was a photo, an old picture of Minnie smiling at a school fair. Beneath it, scribbled in pen, were the words, "She's among the stars now." For months, the search for Joseph Martinez consumed the Bronx. His face was on every street corner, every news broadcast, every whisper in the night. Parents kept their children indoors. Even seasoned officers started double-locking their doors. Martinez had become a ghost, vanished, like starlight fading before dawn. But Maldonado could move on. He knew men like Martinez didn't just disappear. They observed, waited, planned. One morning in late autumn, a call came from a small storage facility outside Yonkers. The manager had noticed a unit paid for in cash, under the name J. Mendez. No activity for months, until last night. Security footage showed a man entering at 2:14 a.m., head down, wearing a hood. By the time police arrived, the door to the unit was ajar. Inside was a space no larger than a walk-in closet, empty except for an old telescope, a few cardboard boxes, and a small desk covered with notebooks. Maldonado flipped one open. It wasn't a journal. It was a logbook, each entry dated, each name carefully written. Minnie, Tasha, Amber. Under each, celestial coordinates. He cataloged them. One officer whispered, "Like stars." But what chilled them most wasn't the writing. It was what they found behind the false wall. The drywall gave way easily, revealing a hidden room lined with newspaper clippings, Polaroids, and torn pieces of fabric. And in the center, a sealed metal trunk. Inside lay evidence that tied Martinez not just to Minnie, but to 3 other cold cases spanning over a decade. The pattern was clear. Each girl disappeared near a park. Each time Martinez relocated within weeks. He'd been hiding in plain sight, under everyone's trust. The FBI joined the case, spreading the search nationwide. Then, one quiet evening in December, a call came from the New Jersey coast. A fisherman had reported a body washed ashore, a man in his 40s. No ID, only a key in his pocket. The key opened the Yonkers storage unit. The fingerprints matched. Joseph Martinez was dead. The cause? Drowning. Suicide, most likely. But something didn't fit. The autopsy revealed water from the Hudson, yes, but also ligature marks around his wrists, as if someone had tied him up before he went under. The coroner couldn't say whether he jumped or was pushed. The case was closed officially. Families received closure, the public exhaled, and the city moved on. But Detective Maldonado couldn't shake one detail. The telescope from Martinez's apartment, now in police storage, had its lens cover removed. When he peered through it one last time, he found something scratched faintly onto the inner ring of the scope. Words so small, they almost disappeared into the metal. Look closer. Maldonado never spoke of what he saw after that, only that he requested to be transferred out of homicide 6 months later. The telescope was quietly destroyed. They thought the darkness had ended with Martinez's death. But 3 months later, a new missing persons report came in, from a girl in the same Bronx neighborhood. And inside her empty bedroom, detectives found a single folded note on her desk.